Hi guys, welcome to Star Wars InVader. In this video, I am going to do a breakdown of episode 3 of the Obi Wan Kenobi series, and what an episode it was. I was blown away. The episode starts with Obi-Wan trying to communicate with his deceased master, Qui-Gon Jinn. He is clearly troubled as he is remembering warnings and clues of the past of the turning of Anakin to the dark side. Obi-Wan seeks guidance and strength for what he knows is coming, which is Darth Vader. It is the realization that the nightmare of his past isn't over. The scene cuts to the scarred pale face of his old Padawan Anakin as he suits up in his Vader suit. Vader leaves his chamber and sits on his throne. He is in Mustafar, the lava planet that was in the end of Revenge of the Sith. In his huge, dark castle, he is speaking on his holo communicator to Reva about the strategy of locating his old master Obi-Wan, and tells Reva that nothing else matters, even the death of the Grand Inquisitor. Vader knows of Reva's desire of becoming the new Grand Inquisitor. He states that if she proves her worth, then she can receive that title she desires, and in true Vader fashion, threatens that failure would result in death. Obi-Wan, still feeling sorry for himself, has now fixed Leia's droid Lola. Leia, clueless of the Force, asks Obi-Wan if he could use his powers to get to their destination faster. Obi-Wan explains what the Force feels like to a curious Leia, their relationship now resembling a father and daughter-like relationship. They land on Mapusa, a mining planet, sneak past station droids carrying storage from the ship. Obi-Wan starts complaining to Leia about his faith in people and even snaps at Leia when she questions why he has such a negative view of people, with an angry tone that not everyone is a good person. Kenobi looks around at the barren environment around them and states to Leia that if it wasn't always like this, until the Empire devastated the planet. Obi-Wan imagines Anakin in the distance, perhaps from lack of water or his current mental state. But it was sure good seeing Hayden Christensen back in his Jedi robe, even for those few seconds. Reva flies and lands at an Imperial base that is surrounded by water. It looks to be an Inquisitor headquarters, as two Inquisitors are seated waiting for her in the meeting room in the base. Reva, clearly a capable tracker, tells the Inquisitors that Kenobi is on one of the mining planets. The fifth brother questions how she could possibly know that, to which she replies that she looked at the manifest. Reva backs orders at them. The fifth brother, clearly not impressed, states that it is not her who is in charge, but him, as he toys with her through the Force, by pulling, then freezing her above the table. He lets go of her finally, and Reva takes this opportunity to rub the Inquisitors' noses in the fact that she spoke to Darth Vader, and he placed her the leader of the mission. The fifth brother walks off, not happy about it, and sends threats towards the third sister's way. Obi-Wan, very quick to judge people, is straight away after reaching the meeting point telling Leia that no one is coming. Leia, unfazed by the moody Jedi's looks for aid to the protest of Obi-Wan. Leia, less wary than Obi-Wan, ignores his protest and talks to the nearby person in their stopped vehicle. They get on top of the back of the truck-like vehicle after the owner Freck agrees to let them hitch a ride. Obi-Wan and Leia pretend to be father and daughter in order to hide their identity. On their way to the drop-off point of the spaceboat, Freck stops to pick up stranded stormtroopers. They sit in the back with Obi-Wan and Leia, at this point not knowing that they are in the presence of the Jedi they are supposed to be looking for. They begin to question Obi-Wan and Leia about their story, of the reasons of them being there. The stormtroopers get off the transport, and Leia questions Obi-Wan if he knew her mother, as Obi-Wan earlier stated that she reminds him of her mother when being questioned by the stormtroopers. It seems the look he gave her gave it away to the bright Leia. Obi-Wan lies to Leia, telling her that it was made up. She doesn't believe him and follows up with her asking if he was her father, to which he replies that he wished he was. They bond over the similar circumstances of not knowing their birth parents. Freck stops at the checkpoint to tell the stormtroopers of the company he picked up along the way. A probe droid scans Obi-Wan to his reluctance. The probe droid sets off the alarms as Obi-Wan's identity is confirmed, but the swift Kenobi dispatches the troops and the droid. Freck gets knocked unconscious, and the last stormtrooper grabs Leia. But the trooper was sorely mistaken if they thought that they would stop the Jedi Master. With pinpoint precision, he shot the trooper down, avoiding Leia. As they got past the laser gate with a shot, more troopers arrive. One of them is a defector, and after identifying Kenobi as a Jedi, blasts her stormtrooper comrades and helps Leia and Obi-Wan to the spaceport. The Inquisitors, now knowing where Obi-Wan is, argue over who will tell Vader of this. The fifth brother smirks at Reva that he has already informed Vader, taking her credit in the process. Reva threatens the fifth brother, then leaves. The Imperial officer that is helping Obi-Wan and Leia hides with them in the safe house in the district to wait on the ship that was due a few hours later. The safe house has been used many times to smuggle all false sensitive people away in secret tunnel called the Path that leads to Jabim to give them new identities. Stormtroopers are banging on the door of the premises. They come in, inspect the room, but don't find them hiding and leave. Obi-Wan feels Darth Vader through the Force. We finally get to see him in action. Darth Vader is even more ruthless than Reva. He's angry and brutally kills helpless civilians for no good reason, snapping their necks and slamming them against the wall. Obi-Wan watches through the gap in the window of the safe house. As Darth Vader terrorizes the townspeople, he tells Tala to take Leia as Vader only wants him. Vader tasks the Inquisitors with sweeping the town and not to engage Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan tries to run away from the people searching for him and manages to sneak away. Or so he thought. Vader has found him and ignites his red saber. Obi-Wan, unsure what to do, gets his saber out but decides to run away instead. Vader taunts him and Obi-Wan finally ignites his blue saber. He can't find Vader in the dark until he hears footsteps behind him and the Sith Lord slowly walks up to him. Obi-Wan tries to escape again with Vader in tow. Reva ignores orders and engages in the search and senses Obi-Wan's acquaintances in the workshop connected to the safe house. Meanwhile, the fighting commenced between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. Darth Vader is dominant the battle against the rusty Jedi. Tala leaves Leia to help Obi-Wan after the two had a discussion and decided that Leia could make the rest of the way on her own. Reva finds the secret switch to the safe house and searches for them. Vader, easily beating the out-of-practice Kenobi, force pushes him and lifts him in the air, creates a fire with his lightsaber and throws him in. Tala shoots stormtroopers and creates a distraction with fire to save Kenobi and retrieve him. Leia gets to the meeting point, but Reva is there standing beside a dead protector she was supposed to meet. What an excellent episode, wow. The best villain is back with Vader. It shows just how evil he actually is with the random killings of civilians and torture of Obi-Wan with the fire. I loved the arguing and the competitiveness of Reva and the fifth brother for the favour of Vader to become the next new Grand Inquisitor. It adds extra layer to the story. We get to see more of Vader's cast in live action on Mustafar. which is always good. Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan's acting is fantastic. He is feeling all the emotions in this episode and acted very well showing them. At the start he is sad and shocked, then gradually turns to frustrated and angry, even loses temper a bit with Leia. He has a brief moment of happiness when Tala tells him of the Jedi survivors and other Force sensitives that she and others have helped. When she sees Vader for the first time, he seems a bit fearful and maybe a bit reluctant to fight him, possibly due to knowing he'd lose because he's a bit rusty, and maybe still has some love for his friend, his old Padawan Anakin. On the contrary, Darth Vader certainly does not have the same love for his old master. He is eager to find him, to make him suffer, killing anyone in his way or just for the sake of it in anger. When he finally gets his wish, he doesn't want an easy death for him. He wants to torture him physically and mentally, follow him round taunting him and burning him to make him suffer. What an episode. 10 out of 10, and I didn't think I'd actually say that, but 10 out of 10 for me. Can't wait for next week. Subscribe to the channel. Till the next time on Star Wars InVader.